Welcome, this is the question practical session of DBMS. Now I'm going to talk about 21st question. In this question I have to, previously we created the database for a student called, for a school called Kaluvili Junior College, and in that, according to that database, I have to execute some queries for find those given items. So first one, I have to find the highest marks obtained in the first term mathematics subject, and second one, highest marks obtained by the second term science subject. So in the third one, what is the highest mark obtained by the students for all subject in the second term, and which subject got the highest mark in the second term. Find all details of the students who got the highest mark in the second term, and find the details of the students who got the highest mark in mathematics in first term examination in the class in which he is studying. So let's go to the queries. I'm going to do them in ID SQL. The first one, I have to find the highest marks for the mathematics in first term. I'm going to first find the subject from I'm going to give the condition where subject dot subject name equals mathematics. Okay, now I'm going to execute the query. So I got the mathematics subject row, and I just need only the subject ID. I'm going to get the subject ID only. Okay, now I'm going to I just got the subject ID. So in the likewise I need to get the term ID also. Same term dot term ID term name equals first. So that is the second query. So now I got the exam term ID also the first, and subject ID also. Now I'm going to find the marks from the exam mark record table. Student exam mark table dot mark only. I just need only the mark. I need to put a where function, but I need to find the max mark, so I have to add the max function. Mark where mark record dot subject ID in here, the ID which we got earlier for the mathematics, and we have to give another condition, student dot exam term ID in and the term ID which we got earlier for the first term, and so that is the and subject ID, the term ID. That's only for the query. Now we will execute and mark record. Oh, we have to put from student exam marker. So when we execute now, I got the highest marks for the maths. It's 90. If we go to the student mark record table and see if I got the subject ID first, and for the first mathematics subject, I got only the 90 for the first highest mark for all the terms in here, also 90, and it's also term ID also first, and the subject ID also 1, it's a 90. So that is the first query for the first question. And the second one, it is asking highest mark obtained in the second term and the science subject. So we have to only change some things only here. Yeah, science and the second. So we have to make sure the spellings are correct, because unless there will be some errors. Subject, science, and same term, second term. First, all the letters are capital. So that's the query. I'm going to execute the query. Okay, when I got to execute the query, it got 95 marks. So let me see in the table if the query is correct. So the science means the second subject ID is 2. So in the 2 there's 95 in here for the second term also. So all the other marks are less than 95. So that is the highest mark in the science subject. That's for the second question. And the third one, what is the highest mark obtained by the students for all the subject in the second term? So the highest mark obtained by the students for all the subjects in the second terms, I need to get the all details of the students. So this is the query. When I remove this part, the science subject, science part, for this part, so I don't need to specify a subject. And also, so in the term ID I have to get the second term and the max marks. When I execute this, I got the mark for 98.5, but I need the I do not need the max marks, but I need the student ID in here. So I'm going to modify the query. Select student mark record dot. I need to get the student ID index number. So index number from student mark record, where mark record dot mark let's say in this query. So this will be the index number of the student who got the highest mark in the second term. When I execute this query, I got the student's ID is TU003. So I need the details of the student. Oh no, it's just asking what is the highest mark obtained by the student for all subject in second term. So that is only just the marks, only the marks, so we don't need to worry about the details of the student. So this is the mark 98.5. So in the fourth question, it is asking which the subject got the highest mark in the second term. So this is the highest mark in the second term, and so we need to get the subject of the highest mark. So I'm going to write another select query. Select the subject ID from the student mark record table dot subject ID from student exam mark record where student dot mark in. So marks where the mark should be the highest mark for the second term. So when I execute this query, I will get the subject ID 3. So the subject of the highest mark in the second term will be the ID 3 for the subject. So I'm going to add another select query for this subject table. I am going to put a select all from subject where subject dot subject ID in the subject ID which we got earlier. When I execute this query, I will get this subject ID for. So I got the all details of the subject of the highest mark in second term. So I'm going to just get the subject name dot subject name only in here. When I execute that, I got the singular language and literature for the answer in here. For the fourth question, so in the fifth one, I have to find the details of the student who got the highest mark in the second term. The student detail, not the subject detail in here. So I have to change modify the query in here. I have to select the student table, student all details. So select all from student. Where student dot student index number in this select student exam mark record from dot student ID. Code dot student's index number. Student index number. Index number from student mark record where the student mark record equals mark in the max mark in the second term and in the second term also. So that is the query student number. So I'm going to execute the query. When I execute that query, I got the So when I execute that code, I got the all details of the students in the student table, and this is the student who got this highest mark for the second term. So that is the fifth question. And find the details of the student who got the highest mark in the mathematics in first term examination and the class in which he studied. And I need to get the all details of the student all details of the student who got the highest mark in the mathematics subject in the first term. So I have to change some things in here in the first term. So in here again I have to add another n function. So n student mark record dot subject dot subjects underscore subject id id in and a subquery for here. Select student, not the student subject dot subject id from subject where subject id equals subject dot subject name equals mathematics. So that is the modification we have to do to add the subject mathematics and the first term. So I have to take the whole details of the student who got the highest marks. So that is the highest mark for the mathematics subject for the first term and all the student detail. When I execute the query, I got the student's details of the student number, and I have to take the class of the students also. So I can join this query. So I'm going to join the table with the class table. In a join class on student dot class id equals class table dot class id. So that should be the query for the class, for viewing the class also. So when I execute, before that I have to join the query before the student. In here I have to add the inner join part before the where functions. So now I got the correct table for the class name also. She's in 11A class, and that is the query for the 6th question as well as the 21st question. And thank you for watching.